Welcome to iconic Monza for the second round of the 2012 KTM European Junior Cup. My name is Michael Hill, and we're bringing you here, courtesy of spknewstv.co.uk, the coverage of the second round of this year's KTM European Junior Cup series. So the standings then after the opening round in Assen, and it was victory for Adrian Pasek ahead of the wildcard rider Rob Hartog and Arthur Walebski in third position. Conditions couldn't be any more different here at Monza. Torrential rain conditions have already seen the cancellation of the first of the World Superbike races earlier today. But thankfully now the rain has stopped. But as you can see from the puddles, the Monza circuit here in Italy, not ideal for the 21 riders from 12 nationalities who are contesting this year's European Junior Cup. So the conditions during qualifying could not have been more different. Glorious sunshine baking the Monza circuit here, and it was pole position by the championship leader Adrian Pasek in a time of 2 minutes 15.199. The riders now then on their warm-up lap here at Monza for what will be a reduced race of 7 laps around the super speedway here in northern Italy. So the spray being kicked up by the riders. Thankfully, the sun is trying to break through. And there we see Pasek leading the riders round. Number 58 is Lucas Wimmer, and 47 is Sepp Scarcella. So let's just run you through the grid then as the riders tiptoe their way around on this warm-up lap. And it's Pasek, as I said, on pole position. Second position on the grid and his first front row of the year for Jake Lewis, the likeable Kiwi, making the tens of thousands of mile journey for each of these races. And he is racing on the KTM number 29 machine, the reigning Supersport champion from New Zealand, and good to see young Jake Lewis on the front row of the grid. Next to him is Josh Harland, the first of the British riders, and Josh riding the famous number 69, the number made famous by Jim Whittam back in the UK, and Josh very much a force to be reckoned with in this year's championship. Winner of the last round of the European Junior Cup in Manicourt last year, and starting to adapt to life on the bigger machine as the riders come down under the Pirelli Bridge into the Varianti Ascari chicane. And again, a great chicane. We were lucky enough to go around the circuit over the preceding few days in a lot drier conditions. And what a brilliant circuit here in Monza for these young riders to acquit themselves. Rounding out the front row of the grid is the Spaniard Gaston Garcia, the former Supermotard racer, the number 75 Spaniard. And he is in fourth position, ahead of, in fifth position, the son of former Superbike legend Kevin Keeley. And we interviewed Kevin this weekend, along with a number of the riders within the KTM European Junior Cup. And you can catch all of those exclusive interviews on spknewstv.co.uk, as well as on the official Facebook page of the KTM European Junior Cup. Sixth on the grid then is the number 47 Australian rider, Giuseppe Scarcella. And Sepp doing well to take sixth position. A tumble for him in Assen, and he will be hoping to get very much on the score sheet in this one. Arthur Walebski, podium last time out, is in seventh, just ahead of Jean-Francois Dumoulin. Lucas Wimmer was going very well in Assen before he tipped off. He will start this race in 12th. And other notable riders to look out for there. Javi Orellana, maybe a little bit further back than what he would have wanted, back in 17th on the grid, the former Red Bull Rookies rider. And he will be looking to improve things as the riders come through then to line up on the grid. And let's hope that the rain does indeed stay away. The European Junior Cup, the KTM European Junior Cup, always a great spectacle. And last year was no exception. The first race in Assen also no exception. At one point, I think they were 5 abreast into the chicane at Assen. So let's hope that the weather doesn't dampen things too much here. And the last of the riders just pulling up on the grid. The Moto Voodoo wildcard riders this weekend. So Kevin Keeley, one of the wildcard riders, as it looks like Stinius Viking Odegaard there in the background, just being put back into the correct grid slot by one of the marshals on the right-hand side. And the other Moto Voodoo wildcard rider is the number 21 machine, and that's Giovanni Di Pera, and he is the wildcard rider. Green flag then at the back of the grid. All eyes will be on this one. It's a long drag for these boys down into the first chicane at the Varianti Interna. We wait for the red lights and an expectant crowd, really just wanting to see a race this weekend, to be honest, after the carnage that has befelt the previous Superbike races. And they're holding them a long time. We're waiting for the lights, and away we go. Oh, and that looks like Kevin Keeley stalled it on the line. He didn't engage the clutch right at all there, and even the safety car's gone by him. So Kevin Keeley, and again, front wheel just Well, you know, nerves do get the better of these guys, and Kevin Kelly will will he safely get past? Yes, the safety car moves over to the right-hand side, and everybody's safely through, splashing through the puddles in turn one. Very, very gingerly does it. Do we all make it through? And yes, we do. So here they come then, out of the spray. That looks like number 2, Jean-Francois Demoulin, I think, that is up at the sharp end. We'll see when the spray clears, and it is indeed. It's number 2, Demoulin is in the lead of this one as they go round onto the one of the fastest parts of the course here. This is the Curva Grande heading up into the Seconda Variante chicane. And that looks like Lucas Wimmer is in a good spot as well. There is number 10, that's Jamie Patterson, and the Northern Irish rider just slipping through there into second place. And he completely unsettled the guy there. And that looked like Demoulin getting it a bit of a break at the front. So here we go then into the Lesmore 1 and Lesmore 2 up on the inside. That looks like Arthur Wilebski's made a pretty good start up into 4th or 5th. Keep off the white lines, but it is Demoulin in the lead. The Frenchman leads this one, and Brit Jamie Patterson is up into 2nd. It's up into 3rd position, and the number's very, very difficult to read with the spray coming up. And already very, very spread out as the riders come down towards the Seraglio under the bridge. And the little river there just on the right-hand side as they go 3 abreast, heading down in towards the Variante Ascari. But it's Demoulin that's got a bit of a break at the front. And Jamie Patterson under a little bit of pressure, but just hanging on to 2nd position. That looks like Pasek, and it is indeed the winner of the opening round of the championship, just slots up into 3rd position. Oh, and Pasek gets it completely sideways. Does he hang on to that? He was just off camera, but he does actually save that. And what a remarkable save there by the winner of the opening round of the championship. As we come down the back straight, and it looks like Patterson's going to have a go at this one, going into the Parabolica, and he passes him into the Parabolica. Demoulin thinks about coming back on him, and who is that going up the inside? And that's Gaston Garcia up into 3rd position. And the spots of rain on the camera now. So is there rain now starting to fall as the riders come round to complete the first lap? I think there actually is. Gaston Garcia passes 3 riders, goes up into 3rd position. And Adrian Pasek just settles his nerves a little bit. And number 29 is Jake Lewis. Well, Jake Lewis, no stranger when he was riding back in New Zealand to these conditions, and a spray being kicked up. And I think it is actually starting to rain as the riders start the 2nd lap. It's Patterson, though, that leads this one. Demoulin late on the brakes as Pasek just slots nicely up the inside of Jake Lewis there, back into 4th position. So the championship leader, and just keeping it off the curves. A little bit of a wheelie there from Patterson. So it's Patterson from Demoulin. Demoulin's going to try and have a go around the outside. And Jean-Francois Demoulin raced in the championship last year, and he makes it stick. So as we see on screen, Seppi Scarcella is in 7th position. Christian Vidal in 9th. And Brandon Key, the American rider, in 11th. But Demoulin makes it stick as they come along. And it definitely is starting to rain a little bit heavier. There's a lot of spray now. Pasek's in 4th. And these guys are bunching together as we go through the chicane. And Jean-Francois Demoulin raced, as I was saying, in the championship last year with his sister, Amélie. And Amélie this year racing back in the French championship, not contesting the European Junior Cup. But it would be good to see the brother and sister combination back out on track at some point this year. And I wonder whether or not she will maybe be in line for one of the wildcard rides when we go to Manicourt. But it's a breakaway of 6 riders, and I think that's Josh Harland just hooked onto the back of this one. And it is a breakaway of 6, and it is indeed the number 69, the British rider, the 2nd of the British riders in the top 6. That's Josh Harland. He's broken clear, and he's now latched onto the back of Jake Lewis as they come down through Seraglio, and it definitely is raining here in Italy. And let's just hope that we can get enough of this race completed. But it is Demoulin at the front, and Jean-Francois Demoulin backed by JFA Performances from Spain. And in 2nd position then, Jamie Patterson, son of the former Grand Prix rider Alan Patterson, former 250 rider. And you can see the rain now on the camera. This is not ideal conditions for these young riders. And how do you see where you're going if you're in 4th or 5th place there when the spray is so bad? And I think that, well, none of the riders actually looking to the skies, but it is actually monsoon conditions now. And these conditions are a lot worse than what we saw the Superbike riders in. And you have to say, all credit to every single one of these 21 riders. So far, so good. Everybody keeping it upright. Kevin Kelly has made some progress. He's now up into the points. And Gaston Garcia, well, super motard racer. He's not going to be too bothered about things stepping out of line, and Gaston Garcia that's now challenging Dumoulin as they cross the line, and the first 6 of them now are together, and it's a breakaway of 4. Actually, no, it's Jake Lewis and Josh Harlan. They're dropping back, the 4 at the front, and they're going to be 4 abreast into the chicane. Surely they can't make this one stick. Who's going to be the bravest? And it's Pasek. Pasek's later on the brakes. Dumoulin doesn't see him there. Gaston Garcia's on the inside, and wow, you don't want to be caught on the curb there, but through they go, and they all make it through. And there's some really, really aggressive but sensible riding by these riders. The talents of the future here in the KTM European Junior Cup. And Pasek now slots through into second position. Is he thinking about where he needs to be in case they actually look at stopping this race? Certainly through the first part of the circuit here, the spray doesn't seem to be as bad. And a lot of the superbike riders were saying that it's a bit of a microclimate here. You can have sunshine and dry weather at one side, and Gaston Garcia up the inside, and Patterson almost clips the back of Garcia and Pasek there. As in the background, you can see now it's Jake Lewis and Josh Harlan just losing touch with this leading 4, but in a very, very comfortable, safe 5th and 6th position. And as I was saying, you can see here the rain isn't falling as bad, and the riders are using the curbs. Oh, and what is Pasek doing? He completely got that unsighted, and and we've got a red flag. We have a red flag, so I wonder whether or not Pasek was maybe a little bit unsighted by the flag, and very lucky not to tip off there. And the marshals here in Italy doing a great job. Well, with only 2 full laps completed, I very much doubt that will be called a result. Now, whether they will indeed bring these riders back and stop for a short while to see if the conditions improve. And you can see there the reason that this race has been stopped. So I think a sensible decision by the organisers here in Monza to stop the race before anybody went down. But credit to all of the riders for actually keeping it upright. And if they do, in fact, decide to restart this race, they will go back a lap, which would actually mean that Jamie Patterson would be lining up on pole position ahead of Jean-Francois Dumoulin and Gaston Garcia. But we just wait then for official news on what the organisers will do, and the pace car comes out. And we have had it confirmed, ladies and gents, that the second round of the European KTM Junior Cup has indeed been cancelled. So weather conditions forcing the cancellation. But in the spirit of the championship, Patterson, Dumoulin and Gaston Garcia will indeed receive their trophies and be awarded the accolade of finishing in the podium positions in 1st, 2nd and 3rd respectively. But the championship points will not stand, and round 2 of the championship proper will take place at Misano in a few weeks' time. So that was shaping up to be a really good race, but it's not going to count towards the championship. But we now look forward with excited anticipation to the second round proper in Misano Adriatico in 2 weeks' time.